Hi there, friendships. Welcome back to Curtis's Corner. If you're new here, hi, I'm Curtis. This is my corner. And on today's Movie Monday, we are going to be discussing the new reboot film, The Crow, starring Bill Skarsgard and FKA Twigs. So, if you are interested in hearing my thoughts and my opinions on this film, then keep on watching. Before we start, I just wanted to say, make sure you like the video if you like movie-related content, subscribe and ring the bell for weekly videos, and don't forget to join my Patreon in the link below, where you will get full early access to videos and behind-the-scenes unedited features. Maybe seeing all the mess-ups and the bloopers that I may have cut out from the final product. So all of that and more can be yours for just $1. Click the link, join the Patreon, I will see you there. But for now, let's jump into this review. The Crow is the newest film to get the reboot treatment, and was directed by Rupert Sanders, who's made other films such as Ghost in the Shell, starring Scarlett Johansson, and Snow White and the Huntsman, starring Kristen Stewart. I also want to preface this by saying I haven't seen the original Crow from 1994 with Brandon Lee. I went into this film knowing nothing about The Crow except that it is a revenge story based on a comic book. Now, while I'm sure the original is great and the death of Brandon Lee on the set of that film is tragic, this isn't a remake of the original film, but rather a retelling of the source material that the original 1994 film drew inspiration from in the first place. Now, the direction taken with this film is definitely a slower burn and more exposition filled with less get straight to the action moments. Bill Skarsgård plays Eric, a man that we meet in a rehabilitation center working through his past trauma from his family when he was just a kid. His story is very simple. Troubled guy meets troubled girl, falls in love, and goes out for revenge for her murder. Now, while the characters themselves weren't very fleshed out as much as we may have wanted them to be, Bill manages to convey great emotion through his performance as Eric during the film's runtime. His ability to handle more physical scenes, only to take a turn to handle great emotional scenes as well, really encapsulates how great of an actor he really is. You're able to see how much he dives into this role and has this misunderstood person trying to overcome hard struggles while dealing with new ones. Now, FKA Twigs was decent in her role. I found her character very underwhelming for most of the film, only because we never really know who she is at all. We get some snippets of information here and there as the film goes on, but ultimately she's just subjected to being just simply the girl that falls in love and dies. Now, when there are some scenes that need some emotional acting bars to be met, Twigs does manage to rise to the occasion and hit those beats. However, for most of it, she just seems very floaty and just nonchalant. The effects for the most part of the film looked fantastic. There were some points when the graphics could have been polished a little bit more. However, it didn't really take me out of the film at all. The amount of gore and graphic scenes up the ante in the film with how brutal the characters are and what they go through in The Crow and how that world really is. There's a great visual representation of I will fight for our love revenge style story that I really like to see as well. The overall villain of the film could have also been fleshed out a lot more. He was a bad guy for the sake of being bad. His powers he had, which you find out early on within the first 10 to 15 minutes of the film, seemed interesting enough, but they never really got utilized to the top of their abilities. There was a lot of potential that could have been done with this power set, and it wasn't quite reached. There's also one scene that seemed very disjointed from the rest of the film, and while the scene itself was incredibly gory and very fun to watch, the music style that they chose to overlay the scene did not mesh well and made it stick out like a sore thumb. This is, of course, the opera scene that I am talking about. This is just a big bloodbath with loud operatic music playing over it, and it doesn't suit each other in this type of a film. Had they gone with the brooding dark music or even a rock song instead, it would have blended better. I understand why they chose the type of music during this scene because of based on the location that they were in, but it still didn't add anything to it. So with all of that being said, I'm going to give The Crow a B+. I think this film is great with building the universe of The Crow, and it could start a new franchise if it finds the love I think that it personally deserves. I think if you know the bare minimum of what this film is about, you're going to enjoy the film. But if you're going in closed-minded and deliberately comparing it to the original 1994 film, you're probably going to walk away disliking it because you're not allowing it to have the chance to breathe and find its own legs to stand on. So I suggest give it a chance and just go enjoy the film. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. If you did, make sure you give this video a like. don't forget to subscribe to my channel for weekly videos and hit that notification bell so you know when I post a brand new video, because if you don't, how else are you gonna know? You won't, so do it. That being said, I do have a new video coming out on Thursday, but until then, goodbye, friendships.